When would you?
SC, may we please take Honorable Ngola.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I think
And,
the evidence leader did
and
not complete.
Let me welcome you to the meeting. Thank you so much. Good morning. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to be back. I think the evidence leader did not complete the oversight mechanism question. IDAC is established in 2019. The oversight mechanism is discussed in 2024. The inspectorate judge is appointed on the 11th of October 2025, which is less than 30 days ago. Now, from 2019 to up to date, how have IDAC been being oversighted? Where did they report? And all that. I think that's the part that is, I think it's incomplete. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Ngola, it's much like what I indicated, that in the time that we waited for the appointment of the judge, we worked as is with all the matters within the NPA. Where there are discipline matters, they are dealt with in the disciplinary process. Where it was an issue that related to a presidential appointment, those matters are escalated as they should be to the office of the president, but there aren't any that I'm made aware of. Where there were criminal allegations, dockets are opened and those would be investigated. And where there might be allegations of compromise of data and information security, we have in the NPA the Risk and Security Division, who work very closely with state security, and those issues would have been or had to have been escalated there. So that is how it did work. But in terms of matters that I became aware of when I started as the head of IDAC, or ID in March 2022, we have had disciplinary issues where we've had allegations that arose against, for example, we had an advocate that joined us, but the allegations of corruption and criminality arose from his work at the office of the DPP. However, we dealt with it because we became aware of it. A disciplinary hearing was conducted. The employee was dismissed, and I know that the criminal matter continued in court. I'm not sure how far that matter went, but that was the course of how things were dealt with, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Malema.
Thank you very much, Chair. What is an oversight?
So the Honorable Malema, you ask in terms of the judge?
What is an oversight?
So oversight is where they exercise, so the oversight is making sure that we are doing things within the prescripts of the law and or our mandate, and or in terms of the disciplinary code. That is the oversight as I see it in terms of IDAC and or its employees.
And there was no oversight up until the judge is appointed to deal with oversight. There's no need to be defensive. There was no oversight. That's why now there is an appointment of a judge to make sure there is an oversight, key amongst others to avoid abuse of power by those who are at IDAC.
So, Chair, nothing to defend. I can merely indicate what processes we had in the NPA at the time, from the time the ID was proclaimed in 2019. It had the labor provisions and discipline issues were dealt with there. There are matters where criminal dockets could have been opened, and those would have been investigated outside, either by the detectives or the DPCI chair. In terms of the ethics and accountability, they also fell within the labor division, and then we also had risk and security. So in terms of the general oversight, that was the NPA's mechanisms to deal with the oversight issues. In terms of mandate, Honorable Malema, I'm sure that there would have been criminal allegations that could have been laid by anyone who was aggrieved and felt that IDAC had acted, or the ID acted outside of its mandate, but there wasn't a judge. I do agree with you.
There was no oversight as we have it now. That what we have now was not there.
Correct.
To tell us about labor, to tell us even at the Chisanyama, there is a process of dealing with labor issues without having any oversight. So there was no oversight as we have it now.
So maybe if you'd allow me, Honorable Malema, I agree that we now have a judge. However, we were not allowed to do as we pleased if that is the contention. I can only refer to the mechanisms that were in the NPA that were applicable to the ID and IDAC at the time. But you are correct, we only have a judge now.
We only have an oversight by a judge now,
That
which
is
we
correct.
didn't have.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yes. Honorable Ngola, you're fine.